Hello, my happy crumpers. Welcome back to Happy Crump and Wargaming. Today, we have got to break down what is the best way to score so that we can win more games. When we're looking at the new Pariah Nexus, a lot of things have freaking changed. And one of the really big things that have changed has been our secondaries. So today is all about secondaries, how we're going to score them. Is it going to be tactical? Is it going to be fixed? What are we going to score? Why we have to change? All these things we are going to discuss today on Happy Crump and Wargaming. But first, before we get into all of that, just a huge shout out. I am extremely excited and proud to announce the official licensed Happy Crump and Wargaming dice. They are a beautiful purple with a green imprint on them of the super awesome demon frog, which you all know and love to be and if you didn't know, it is a demon frog with a little grill, who is the symbol of Happy Crump and Wargaming. So these dice are freaking awesome. They are beautiful square edge. They are produced by the Baron of Dice himself, who is the best dice supplier in the freaking world. And you can find them using the link in the description down below. Any purchases absolutely 100% directly fund our channel, and it is things like this that help us drive this channel's growth. So get yourself some awesome freaking very high quality incredible 16mm dice. They're great for rolling sixes, and they're great for giving away to people as like a memento of their time with you at tournaments and things like that. That's how I like to use these things. So anyway, Baron of Dice, you're a rock star. You made some freaking awesome stuff. Guys, code Crumping5, and you can also just use the link down below. You might have to search for Happy Crumping Dice on there in order to find it. Just use the link down below. That'll take you directly to it, get you your discount and everything. And let's get on with the video. All right, so we are going into new, fixed versus tactical. Previously, in the old Leviathan, we had to decide when you were building your list in the list building stage, do you want to take your fixed secondaries or your tactical secondaries? Remember the way that scoring works. You can score up to 50 primary points and up to 40 secondary points. Now, it's a little bit different in our Pariah Nexus, which is the second season of Warhammer 40k 10th edition. Now, you can still score 50 primary and 40 secondaries. However, if you choose what's called a secret mission, that will actually start to cap you at 40 primary. So secondaries are starting to become a lot more important here because there are situations where you might actually get capped in your primary scoring. So we really have to put a lot of thought into the secondaries. So do you want to go fixed or do you want to run tactical? Well, first off, there's a very similar argument. What does fixed secondaries do? Well, it gives you a very predictable game plan. You know these models are going to stand here and they're going to score points. You know these models are going to have to stand here and do an action and score points. Or you know that you're going to have to kill all my characters in order to score points. So it really does allow you to predict what your opponent is attempting to do. Whereas tactical makes it much harder to create a game plan and predict what your opponent is, what you're going to be doing as an opponent. So these are very interesting little things. One of the things that you always have to consider, whether you're wanting to take fixed or tactical, is the type of army that you're running. And if you haven't heard me rant about this before, I'm going to do it really quick. There are three main archetypes for armies in this game. The first type is going to be, I'm going to kill you. And you can't score points when you're freaking dead. So these are going to be armies like the World Eaters, certain Orcs, certain Blood Angel builds. These types of armies just go out there with one intention, and that intention is to table the opponent. And when the opponent is tabled, they can't score any points. And that is how they function, and it is a pretty good way to freaking function. Armies like this tend to either, one, really like to take kill secondaries, so they're going to take Bring It Down, or Call the Horde, or Assassinate, or some combination of all three of them, or they're going to generally want to go more tactical because their entire purpose is just to be going up the board and they'll score what points they can get while they're doing it. Fixed tends to not be as attractive to that style of army, although there are scenarios where it possibly can. Then the second type of army is going to be the non-interactive, you don't get to play this game type of army. These are going to be armies like Eldar or your Grey Knights. So armies that get their reactive moves, they get their uppy downy, they get to go wherever they want to go and do whatever they want to do. These types of armies love playing fixed. Now, they're also pretty dang good at tactical. They just in general really like scoring secondaries, and sometimes they might struggle with primary. And then lastly, you've got the type of army called, which I dub the Can't Kill Me army. These are armies that like to stand on an objective and dub on you while you just you fail to do anything. So you got to start thinking like new bully boys. These types of armies that just you keep putting more and more firepower into them and just nothing dies. It is extremely frustrating to pursue. 18 Wraiths in Canoptic Court is a beautiful example of this style of an army. And these types of armies tend to really enjoy fixed. In the new edition, things are changing a little bit. So, what is our main consideration when we're selecting whether we want to do fixed or tactical? Well, actions overall are much harder to accomplish now. Remember, you can no longer do actions when you advance. You can no longer do actions in combat, and you can no longer do actions when you fall back, even if you are eligible to shoot. It doesn't matter if you have an assault weapon and you want to roll in advance, you can't do an action. There are some very, very small exceptions to this. If you are battle line and you draw the mission rule that allows you to, then in that specific one mission rule, you will be allowed to advance and charge or advance in action, action in combat, or fall back in action. And those are three separate mission rules that you would have to draw. Titanic character units get to shoot and still do actions. So that is its difference. There's more restrictions, which a lot of people probably aren't really letting it sink in quite yet. But now OC0 units cannot do actions. So you can't put your Fenrisian wolves behind the wall and do deploy teleport homers, which isn't even a secondary anymore. You can't just run Nurglings and have your Nurglings stand there and do actions. It does actually make things much harder when the grand scheme of things when you're trying to score secondary points. So it is much harder to actually do actions. Now, what has changed? There's the action economy gets very, very weird for primaries. So when we're looking at our primaries, we have primary actions that are going to be involved in 4 out of the 9 primary missions. So you've got Unexploded Ordnance, Terraform, Scorched Earth, and the Ritual. Each one of these 4 primary missions is going to be requiring units in your armies to do action. And remember, you can't advance an action. You can't action while you're in combat. You can't fall back and do actions even if you're still eligible to shoot. So it makes it much harder to actually get these actions done. When we take these 4 primary missions that you have to do actions on and we stack them with the new secondaries that require actions, it actually starts getting very challenging to do actions. So what has changed? Action economy is going to get very, very weird for secondaries because we used to have only 3 out of 16 secondaries that required actions. Now we have 5 out of our secondaries that require actions. And those 5 secondaries are actually, it's a big deal trying to score them. So it's from a 19% of the secondaries required actions to now it's 28% of the secondaries require actions. Another thing to consider is that a lot of the secondaries are scoring less points now. So for example, if you're playing Cleanse in Tactical, you only score 2 points for doing it once or 4 points for doing it twice, just like with Fixed. So they don't have separate points costs whether it's Fixed or Tactical anymore, which is interesting. It really does change certain things. And then even taking it a step further, I believe it is 3 of the action secondaries will require you to do actions with multiple units, which means you're going to need to be having 3, 4, heck, on some of the primary missions, you might need 5 units that can do actions a turn if you want to score every single primary and secondary action available for the turn. That is exceptionally challenging when we exclude the fact that, well, you can't advance and do action. You can't fall back and do action. You can't do action in combat. You can't do action with OC0 units. It becomes very hard to get all of these actions done. So what are some of the things about tactical that actually really, really help us out that we might want to choose tactical over fixed? Well, one of the really cool changes to Pariah Nexus is you can essentially always, well, it's not 100% true, but on almost all of the secondaries, you will be able to recycle them if you can't score them. So, for example, if you draw behind enemy lines turn 1 and you can't score turn 1, you can recycle it for free. This actually makes it much easier to cycle through tacticals or your tactical secondaries in order to be able to get a secondary that you can actually score. They also got rid of the limit on the New Order stratagem. For those of you who don't know, the New Order stratagem was a stratagem that would allow you to spend 1 CP in your command phase, and then you could discard one of your secondaries and draw a new one. Now, this had a battle limit of once per game. However, they got rid of that limit, so now you can do that as much as you want. Once again, increasing the likelihood that you're going to be able to draw secondary cards when you're playing tactical that you will be able to score. So basically, in conclusion, one of the things that you really need to consider is if you have the action economy to do all of these actions, tactical is looking very, very, very improved. However, tactical can become quite challenging if you're running a hyper elite army that does not have the units that can do the actions. Although, to be honest, I think we're going to see just a completely huge shift in the way that we build a list in general, simply because you have to be able to account for doing those actions in this new season of Warhammer 40,000. So, in my opinion, now, because I am a tactical king, I love tactical secondaries. I essentially never played fixed secondaries. I taught tactical secondaries. I did tactical secondaries. I love tactical secondaries. However, now in the new edition, if I see the opportunity to be getting my kill secondaries, whether it's going to be Cull the Horde, Assassinate, or whatever, I'm probably going to be jumping on the opportunity to perform those fixed secondaries if I can score relatively well for them. I also think it's going to be an error in list building for most armies, not all armies, but most armies, to think that you have to maximize secondaries in Pariah Nexus, simply because it's going to be much harder because you're not scoring as many points for every secondary that you accomplish. There is no more capture enemy outpost to get 8 victory points on, for example. So it's going to be a lot harder to score very high in the game. So I do think that we need to start in our list building step planning for our secondaries a little bit more. I personally am going to continue building for tactical, and I think I'm going to be accepting the fact that I'm not going to be scoring as highly on tactical. So I'm going to be shifting my game plan much more around dominating primary now in Pariah Nexus. But these are the things I really want you to consider. Do you need to be scoring 40 on secondary? If you don't need to be scoring 40 on secondary, does tactical give you an advantage because you can discard cards to get yourself extra CP? If you don't need extra CP, is it better for you to stay fixed? If you have kill secondaries, if you don't have kill secondaries, can you do the new fixed secondaries? Because remember, deploy teleport homers is gone, so you don't have an auto take anymore for fixed. So these are the things I really, really want you to consider. In my opinion, I think tactical secondaries are looking better than they were before, which means I think tactical secondaries are, generally speaking, going to be the way to go in the new edition season of Warhammer 40,000. Now, when you're going against certain style armies, say you're going against Green Tide, and you know you're going to have 120 boys in front of you with like 9 characters. Okay, in that scenario, you probably always have to take Cull the Horde and Assassinate, which I really enjoy that because it does put a little bit of a stopper on that very, very strong army. It does help control that army a little bit, knowing that you tend to give up a lot of secondaries. So this is actually a pretty interesting thing. It's a very interesting discussion. For those of you who kind of like to play the way I play with the hyper-aggressive styles, the staging, and then the killing in one fell swoop, I think tactical is probably the way to go, although this will be a developing opinion as we go through the new season of Warhammer 40,000. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe. If you're interested in more Tactical 40k, be aware that we are getting ready to launch a Teams League on my Discord server. So if you're not a member, and you do have to be a member of the Discord server, because it is a lot of work for me to put these tournaments on, I do require my 1 beer per month fee for becoming a member of the Discord. We are getting everyone assigned to teams. We're going to have experienced people being captains so that we can start teaching everyone how to play Teams 40k, because Teams is, in my opinion, the most fun and the best way to play 40k. So if you're excited about that, jump on in the Discord in the members only section. You can sign up by becoming a YouTube member or a coffee member, which you can find in my links down below. And then make sure you go into the tournament information section and go ahead and fill out our Google form, letting us know what the armies that you play so that we can get you assigned to a team that will benefit you and everyone will be able to learn and grow from. So until next time, everybody, this is Happy Corrupt and Wargaming, and I am out, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.